Imagine scrolling through your feed and seeing a headline that says, "Robot gets pregnant and gives birth to a baby." Sounds like a rejected episode of Black Mirror, right? But earlier this year, the internet convinced itself it was real. Clips, photos, and articles spread like wildfire, claiming that Chinese scientists had unveiled the first humanoid robot capable of carrying a fetus inside an artificial womb and delivering a child. The reaction was instant chaos. Some people said humanity was finished, others hailed it as the future, and many just stared at the screen wondering if we accidentally skipped a few decades of technological progress overnight. But what really happened? And why did the entire world believe it so easily? Let's break the story apart, because the truth is even more fascinating than the hoax. The viral headline that fooled millions. The claim came from a company supposedly called Kiowa Technology and a mysterious figure named Dr. Zhang Kefeng, who was said to be from Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. According to viral posts, this robot wasn't just moving around with servo motors, it was fully pregnant, carrying a fetus in a synthetic womb and scheduled for commercial release by 2026. Some outlets even listed the price, around 100,000 won or $14,000. Cheap for a life-creating cyborg, don't you think? But once journalists started digging, the whole thing collapsed like a wet cardboard box. Nanyang Technological University confirmed that no scientist named Zhang Kefeng has ever worked there. No patents were filed, no research existed, and every shred of proof in those videos turned out to be edited or fabricated. In fact, a detailed investigation by Live Science concluded that the entire story was almost certainly a hoax designed for clicks. So yes, the world's first pregnant humanoid robot does not exist. But here's the twist. The reason everyone believed it is because real artificial womb research is actually happening, and it's advancing faster than many people realize. The real technology behind the hype: artificial wombs. While the robot mom was fake, the field it referenced, ectogenesis, or growing babies outside the human body, is extremely real. Back in 2017, researchers at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia shocked the world by keeping premature lambs alive inside something that looked like a giant Ziploc filled with clear fluid. This system, nicknamed the biobag, simulated the womb environment with warm solution, nutrient delivery tubes, and oxygenation technology. The lamb fetuses didn't just float there, they continued developing, grew fur, practiced breathing, and survived for weeks. It wasn't full pregnancy, but it proved an extraordinary idea. Partial gestation outside the body is possible. Japan, Australia, and the Netherlands have also been developing artificial womb technologies of their own. In one recent Japanese project, embryos developed inside a rotating fluid-filled chamber designed to mimic the conditions of amniotic movement. And in Europe, the Eindhoven University of Technology received major funding to create artificial womb systems specifically intended for hospital NICUs, where premature infants struggle to survive outside the womb. These aren't science experiments done in basements. These are major government-backed research programs. But here's the key difference. None of them are close to growing a baby from conception to birth. The placenta isn't just a nutrient hose. It controls hormones, immune responses, oxygen levels, waste removal, and 1,000 other biological processes that machines can't yet replicate with total precision. Scientists agree, we are still decades away from full external gestation, if it ever becomes possible at all. So why did the fake robot story feel so believable? Because the world is facing a real birth crisis. One word: demographics. In 2023, China recorded its lowest birth rate ever. Population decline continued for the second year in a row. South Korea's numbers are even worse. They have the lowest fertility rate in human history. Japan and much of Europe are rapidly aging and shrinking. The United Nations projects that by 2050, 1 in 6 humans will be over 65. Governments are increasingly desperate for solutions. That's why countries like China have been filing patents related to artificial womb monitoring, automated embryo growth systems, and advanced reproductive technology. So when the pregnant robot story appeared, millions thought, well, with declining birth rates and all this new AI and robotics tech, maybe we really have reached that point. It wasn't the absurdity of the story that made it viral, it was the plausibility. Robots are getting closer to caregiving roles. While no robot is carrying a fetus, robots are entering spaces once considered uniquely human. Japan has long used childcare robots capable of rocking cribs, reading stories, or monitoring infants with sensors. China's robotics sector is exploding too, with companies like Unitree and Fourier Intelligence building humanoids that can lift, carry, assist, and perform physical household tasks. Earlier this year, Unitree's H1 robot went viral for casually lifting around 30 kilograms, almost the weight of a toddler or newborn supplies. Combine that kind of mechanical capacity with artificial womb research, and suddenly, the idea of a pregnancy robot doesn't feel like pure fantasy. Unlikely? Yes. Impossible? No longer. A future full of ethical and social dilemmas. Even though a robot mother doesn't exist, the conversation it sparked cut straight into some of society's deepest anxieties. For example, what would artificial wombs mean for women? Every year, the World Health Organization reports that around 287,000 women die from pregnancy or childbirth-related complications. Supporters of artificial wombs argue that in the future, external gestation could reduce maternal mortality dramatically. But critics raise serious alarms. If pregnancy can be outsourced to machines, does motherhood become a service? Do wealthy families gain an advantage by accessing premium artificial wombs while others are left behind? Does childbearing become a purchasable luxury? Religious groups argue that ectogenesis interferes with nature and the spiritual meaning of life. Bioethicists worry about a slippery slope toward designer babies, especially when combined with genetic editing technologies like clustered, regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. In 2018, Chinese scientists sparked global controversy after editing the DNA of twin embryos, an event that pushed the door to genetic modification wide open. Now, imagine combining that with artificial wombs controlled by automated systems. You begin to see why this conversation is so emotionally charged. What the future actually looks like. Experts generally divide the future of artificial wombs into 3 possible timelines. In the next decade, artificial womb systems will likely appear in hospitals to help extremely premature infants survive. Instead of fragile babies entering incubators, they might return to a womb-like environment that gives them a better chance at healthy development. In the next 20 to 30 years, partial external gestation may become possible, where early fetal development happens in a controlled lab system before the baby is transferred to a human womb or advanced incubator. And in the far future, full external pregnancy remains a possibility, though not guaranteed. If achieved, it could involve biobag systems, automated pods, or even humanoid robots designed to stabilize and transport artificial wombs. Such breakthroughs would spark debates unlike anything in human history. So why does this matter? Because the boundary between science fiction and reality is getting thinner every year. We don't have a pregnant robot today. The viral videos were false, but the reason millions clicked, shared, and debated them is simple. The world senses that this future is inching closer. Birth rates are collapsing. Robotics is accelerating. Artificial womb research is moving steadily forward. Fertility technologies are becoming more advanced every year. So the real question isn't whether a robot can get pregnant in 2025. It's how humanity will react when technology finally reaches that point. Because whether that moment arrives in 30 years, 50 years, or never, the debate has already begun. And judging by the reaction to a completely fake robot, people are nowhere near ready for the real thing. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think artificial wombs and advanced robotics will help humanity, or are we stepping into a future we're not ready for? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the truth behind the pregnant robot story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another mind-bending episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.